Today in NASCAR, there are many promising drivers well under the age of 25 that have shown to have enough talent to dominate NASCAR's top levels for decades to come. However, 20 years ago, finding a competitive driver under the age of 25 was hard to come by. The first driver to have massive success from that young of an age was Jeff Gordon, winning in NASCAR's top series consistently from the age of 21. However, the next driver to show as much promise as Jeff Gordon at such a young age would come about a decade later. This is the story of Casey Atwood. Casey Atwood was born and raised in Antioch, Tennessee, where he found interest in racing from an early age. From a young age, Atwood was driving race cars, first by driving go-karts at age 10, then by pursuing late models by age 15. One of Atwood's first major racing accomplishments in his career was when he won the 1996 Rookie of the Year honors at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, his home track. When Atwood wanted to pursue racing as he got older, he decided to drop out of high school and pursue racing as his career. Atwood's Busch career began in 1998, where he made his first start at Rockingham Speedway, where he finished 21st. However, the next track he would attempt to start at would be Nashville Fairgrounds, the place where he won Rookie of the Year honors just 2 years prior. His experience paid off as he won the pole for the race and became the youngest pole winner in series history. Not only would Atwood win the pole, but he would go on to lead over 100 laps and finish second in only his second start of his career at the age of 17. This, however, would be Atwood's only top 10 finish of 1998, as he would have no better finish than 11th for the rest of the season. He did, however, win another pole at Homestead later on in the season and lead 25 laps at Atlanta the week before. In 1999, Atwood was signed to a full season of Busch Series competition with Bruco Motorsports, a team that had finished 13th in the standings the year prior with Mark Green, and had yet to win a race in Busch Series competition. The first race did not go well for the new combination.
Upside down, Casey Atwood. And sliding through the grass, Kenson flies around. White and yellow flag. Atwood's car is destroyed.
However, the week after this crash, they would finish top 5, and the following 4 races string together multiple mediocre to terrible finishes along with a DNQ at Las Vegas. His luck turned around at his home track of Nashville Fairgrounds, where he finished second yet again. This helped build Casey Atwood's confidence, as he had begun building momentum with consecutive good runs in the following races. Finally, on July 4th, 1999, everything seemed to go Casey Atwood's way.
Now, if something happens to the front two, remember Dale Earnhardt Jr. is running third.
Man, oh man, this is what a race car driver lives for, the chance to win. And Casey Atwood, sitting in second, has never won a Busch Grand National race.
Jeff Green has won twice.
Oh, he gave him a little shot
and
there.
Here we go for the win. Casey Atwood says, I'm not going to let this one get away. Casey Atwood.
Great job, yes.
He has got himself a win in the NASCAR Busch Series.
Oh, was that one? He gave him just a...
Winning the pole, leading the most laps, and a daring last lap move for the win made him more and more impressive to car owners and teams all around NASCAR. After the incredible performance by the 18-year-old driver, the spotlight seemed brighter than ever. Another pole at Gateway and a second victory at Dover kept building more and more promise in Casey Atwood. Although after a second win, Atwood didn't finish inside the top 20 for the rest of the season. Atwood's career was gaining momentum as the hype around him became more and more. In 2000, Atwood would perform much more consistent than 1999, with 8 top 10s and no top 5s, or wins. He did still win 2 poles and improve on his average finish, and finish 8th in the points. Also in 2000, Atwood made 3 Cup starts for Ravenham in the number 19. In those 3 starts, Atwood showed to have a lot of potential by finishing 19th, 25th, and 10th, with crew chiefs Chad Canals and Patrick Donahue. Atwood was soon being compared to Jeff Gordon, as both had come up through NASCAR's ranks similarly, and Atwood seemed to show the same promise Gordon had before him, and had just been hired to drive full-time for the same man that guided Jeff Gordon to 3 championships in the mid-90s. However, before the 2001 season could even start, a mistake had already been made for the 19 team. Casey Atwood's Cup career looked to have plenty of promise, as he was joining the new 19 team at Evernham Motorsports with factory support from Dodge, but already a critical mistake was made with the team. 3 people were up for the position of crew chief on the number 19 team: Chad Knaus, Mike Ford, and Patrick Donahue. The team chose Patrick Donahue, as he had seemed to work well with Atwood in the one race they did together, collecting a top 10. Knaus went over to Harry Melling to work with Stacy Compton, and Mike Ford moved over to the number 9 car with Bill Elliott. Donahue and Atwood would prove to not work out, as through the first 10 races of 2001, their best finish would be 18th and would DNQ the 4th race at Atlanta. Atwood's performance picked up more throughout the next 11 races, collecting their best finish of 12th, twice, and 15th. However, Donahue would be moved off of the 19 as crew chief after Indianapolis, and Sammy Johns would become the new crew chief of the 19. Immediately, performance began to pick up, as after their second race together, they would get their first top 10 of the season, and would only have 2 finishes outside the top 30 for the rest of the season. Atwood seemed to start showing more promise, and it looked even better after his incredible 3rd place run at Homestead, where he was passed for the win with only 5 laps to go. However, his late season turnaround was not enough for him to keep his ride at Evernham, and he would move over to another Dodge affiliate team of Ultra Motorsports in the number 7. Throughout the year, Atwood would not record a single top 10 or any laps led, and would not be signed back after 2002 to the team. Atwood made 2 starts in the 91 car for Evernham in 2003. One would end in a blown engine, and another would be a 31st place finish 2 laps down. Atwood would return to running for Bruco halfway through 2003 in the Busch Series in a second expansion car. Atwood would have okay success, collecting 4 top 10s and 14 starts. Atwood would run the majority of 2004 with the same team again. Atwood ran as well as he did in the first 2 seasons with the team, however they released him after race 29 of the season. Atwood for the next few seasons ran a few races here and there across the Busch Series and Truck Series for a multitude of teams. Atwood continued this until 2009, when he drove 20 races for Wayne Day. Atwood never finished inside the top 20, and would have a best finish of 22nd. Atwood was also involved in a serious crash at Phoenix, an accident that gave him minor injuries. Atwood continued to run part-time for the rest of the season in the 05 for Wayne Day. After his last start of the season, in the penultimate race at Phoenix International Raceway, Casey Atwood never made another start in NASCAR Top 3 division racing ever again. Casey Atwood's NASCAR story is a short but infamous one. Nearly 20 years after his last Cup Series start, people still consider Atwood as one of the biggest busts in NASCAR history. But was Casey Atwood really a bust? Or perhaps was he just a victim of too high of expectations? For half of his rookie year, he was only 20 years old. Even at that young of an age, he almost won a Cup race by beating Bill Elliott. What would have changed if he had held off Elliott that day? Would he have kept his ride? What would have happened if they had given him Chad Knaus as a crew chief? Would Casey Atwood still be in the Cup Series in 2020 racing for championships? No one will ever truly know what Casey Atwood could have achieved, and sadly for now, and possibly forever, Atwood will be known as one of NASCAR's biggest busts.